Hey, Mom. Hey, I'm trying to record a podcast. Can I call you later? No, you're fine. Okay. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hello, and welcome to the Yet Another Yarn podcast, or as I like to call it, the YAYCast. This is, I think, officially episode 6. If you are a returning viewer, are probably wondering where the heck I've been. And if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for coming and checking out this podcast. If you like what you see here, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all the encouragement. I will get to my crazy busy life in a few minutes and explain where I disappeared off to, but before that, if you don't already, I would encourage you to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @craft all the things, all one word. And you can also find me on Ravelry at gfiorito. It's GFIORITO. I will link all of this down below so you don't have to wonder how I just spelled my last name. I also have a Instagram account set up specifically for my hand-dyed yarn. It is @squishthisYarn, and I haven't been terribly active recently. Again, I will explain where I have been and what I've been doing. But you can definitely check that out. I still have some yarn from my last dye available in my Etsy store, and you can also find me on Etsy @squishthisYarn as well. I want to, first of all, say thank you for everybody who checked in and made sure I was still alive. I am so sorry it has taken me so long to record another podcast. Guys, my life just got super duper crazy for a while. If you haven't watched previous episodes, I am a photographer professionally. My husband and I both are, primarily weddings, but also families. And this year, we're always busy during the holiday season. Everybody always wants holiday family photos, but this year has been an especially busy year for holiday family photos. And it kind of took me by surprise, and I wasn't prepared for the amount of photo sessions that we were going to end up having. And of course, you know, with holiday photo sessions comes holiday photo deadlines, and that coupled with albums and prints and all of those fun things that people like to get done before the holidays start. Guys, my brain is just total mush. I wish I could tell you that I've been secretly knitting this whole time. I do have lots of finished objects to show you guys today, but literally all of the crafting and knitting I have done has probably been completed in the last 2.5 days. It has just been a whirlwind. To catch everybody up, I think the last time I recorded a podcast was before Halloween. I am so sorry. It's been almost 2 months since my last podcast. It's just embarrassing, really. Shortly after Halloween, I honestly can't even tell you. My life has been such a blur. I think we just got a little overwhelmed and busy, and I kept putting it off and saying, I'll record next week. And then Thanksgiving hit, and then December craziness. Our lives are usually a little crazy in December, as it is. My birthday is in December, my husband's birthday is in December, and our son's birthday is in December. Actually, our son is turning 1 tomorrow, so I've been a little bit of an emotional basket case because of that as well. So, yes, again, I'm so sorry. I've missed you guys terribly. I literally haven't even been on Instagram. That's how crazy and busy my life has been. I have been waking up stupid early in the morning. I have been passing out on my couch at 8 o'clock at night after the kids go to bed. I literally sit down every night with the intentions of working on something, and I get half a row into what I'm working, and I fall asleep with my knitting needles just in my hands, and my husband wakes me up 2 hours later to just actually go upstairs and go to bed for real. So, all of that being said, I hope you guys are all doing well. A couple of announcements. I do want to make sure we are still doing the Ambitious Christmas Make-Along. Sorry, I have not been keeping up with it. I have been embarrassingly behind on my Ambitious Christmas list. I have finished more than I thought I was going to. Was a point in early December where I was like, I'm throwing in the towel now. None of these projects are getting done. It will never happen. Luckily, things finally started slowing down this past weekend, and I just sat down and furiously started knitting until like my hands were cramping and my eyes were blurry and I could barely think straight. So I did finish a bunch of the stuff that I wanted to finish. I also finished something that I'm wearing. You guys might notice this. So I'll show you guys this in a little bit. But Ambitious Christmas Make-Along still happening. Deadline is Sunday at midnight. So if you have not already, please check out our Ravelry group. You can submit photos of your finished objects then. Anything that you have made since October 15th through midnight on Sunday with the intention of gifting it at some point during this holiday season can be entered. All you have to do is submit a photo in our finished object thread in our Ravelry group. And if you use any yarn that was made by me, which is Squish This Yarn, or my sister, who is Peachy Skiing, or my mom, who is Die Happy, you get an extra entry for that item as well. We're also doing a bonus round that is between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So if you submit a photo of the thing you made with the person that you gifted it to, then you get an extra entry into that. We're also going to be still doing prizes for the gift that traveled the furthest, the person who was able to complete the most projects, which is definitely not me in this scenario. I'm going to tell you right now, literally everyone probably finished more things than I did this year. We'll also be having an extra prize for the person who had the most ambitious project. That is the project that used the most amount of yarn. I am so excited for this make-along. I'm so sorry that I haven't gotten to talk about it more or talk about it more on Instagram, but I know that the thread's been pretty active. I know that you guys have been submitting your projects, so please don't hesitate. It doesn't matter if you've been in it since the beginning or if you're just now finding this podcast today and it is before December 24th. Go enter your objects. We'd love to see what you've made this year. First, before I really get into stuff, because I'm doing things all out of order today, I wanted to show you guys my brand new coffee mug. Super duper Star Wars nerd, husband, super duper Star Wars nerd, and the new Star Wars movie came out between our birthdays. Mine is the 11th and his is the 16th. So we went to go see the new Star Wars movie and he gifted me with a set of coffee mugs. Obviously, if you're a Star Wars fan, you get this reference. He has the Han Solo cup that says, I know. We actually had a set of coffee mugs a couple of years ago that said the same things, but they were handmade, and I don't think they were sealed properly because the first time I washed them, everything just came right off, and I was super sad about that. I was really, really upset. And they were a gift, so I didn't know where they came from to see if I could get them replaced, which was also a big bummer. So I'm very excited to have I Love You, I Know back in my life. And just for reference, I gifted him a blueprint of the Millennium Falcon for his birthday. So that's the level of nerd that has been reached in our house at the moment. This episode's probably going to be very short. I'm going to let you guys know up front, I have 0 works in progress because I've been so furiously trying to finish the projects that I have already started for Christmas. I do have a bunch of those. I have a couple that I started literally in the last 2 days, tiny projects for my kids that I've also finished. So I will show you guys those. I don't have a lot of stash enhancements this time around. The only things that I have to show you guys today are my sister sent me the yarn from our trade, and I love these two. My sister's yarn company is called Peachy Skiing. You can find her on Etsy, and these are 2 that she made that I am super duper in love with, and bonus points, they're named after Disney characters, which are the best things ever. But this purpley one is called Cowl, which is a Tangled reference. Also, this orangey one is called Rapunzel, Tangled reference as well. And I just love the way they look together. I have no idea what I'm going to make with them yet, but it's definitely going to be something that's brioche because the 2 of these just make me so happy when you put them next to each other. They complement each other so well. I don't know if she still has these in her store. I forgot to look before I started recording. If not, you should demand that she make more because they are stinking beautiful. I know she's actually dyed some recently that will hopefully be up in her store soon. I got sneak peeks on my text messages the other day, and they're super pretty. I have not dyed anything since the last time we've chatted, and it's like wearing on me that I haven't gotten to dye anything. I'm actually really hoping after Christmas to be able to just sit down and dye a bunch of yarn because I miss it so much, and I've just been spending so much time in front of screens. I'm suffering complete screen burnout at the moment. If I could spend like 3 days in a cabin in the woods with 0 screens in front of me, I would be like the happiest person in the face of the planet right now. I need a break. I don't want to look. I don't want to look at any more screens. Save for maybe Netflix. Like, I could totally still watch Netflix. Netflix doesn't count as screens, right? I'm still yelling at my mom to send me stuff. She supposedly sent me something in our Christmas package that has yet to arrive, but hopefully I will get to show that off to you guys next time. I am hoping to start recording regularly again now that we are almost through the holiday season and getting back to some sense of normalcy in this house. Alright, so as I said, I don't have any works in progress currently, which is both a good and a bad thing. I still have some projects that I've been working on. I'm still working on my What the Fade. I haven't made any significant progress on it in the last 2 months. I think I've maybe added like 2 rows to it, so I'm not even going to worry about showing you guys. I am hoping to get to work on that over our Christmas break and finish it for next time. But more so than that, I think most of the projects that I've been working on, I've just been concentrating on finishing. So I will start at the beginning. I have a bit of a list to get through. So it'll just be a fun podcast of finished objects today. So my first finished object is my Boxy Chevron sweater that I actually finished right before Thanksgiving. So I did get to wear it for Thanksgiving, which made me very happy. There are good photos of it on Instagram, so which is probably like the last thing that I Instagrammed. I'm obsessed with it. I think I've worn it like 5 times already. I'm pretty sure everybody else that doesn't know that I made it probably just assumes that like this is the only sweater I own, which actually is not untrue. I think I have like 2 other sweaters, but it's just so comfortable and it's so flowy and big. It is like super duper boxy. Like, look at this. Ah, I love it so much. I rushed to finish this back in November, and actually it didn't take, once I got back into just knitting in the round, because I got a little burnt out with that from projects previously, and so I kind of took a big break from this one. But once I got back into that rhythm, the rest of the sweater really flew by. I thought it was going to take so much longer because there is a ton of positive ease. It is literally double like the width of you, but it wasn't bad at all. I'm really impressed with how it finished. It feels and looks like a real commercial made sweater. I mean, in that like the seams aren't like super jacked up and like the hem is straight and it fits well. I'm so excited that I finished a sweater for me. Granted, this will probably be the only sweater that I finish for me in the next 2 years because, oh my god, that took way longer than I thought it was going to. I was supposed to have this finished for Rhinebeck. It took me like 6 weeks past that. But now I know better. Now I know how long it really takes to make an adult size sweater. So perhaps next time I will be a little bit better in judging my time and schedules and commitments. But anywho, check out Instagram for full-length photos so you guys can see really how it fits. But I love this. I love the pattern. I love that you do the sleeves first in this pattern. So once you get past this part, it really is just a whole bunch of knitting in the round until you're done. It does have like this really fun jazzy texture on the bottom with the ribbing, which I really liked. And yeah, it is currently my favorite thing that I own. I will probably be wearing it to every single Christmas party in the next week. So if you know me in real life, apologies. This is all I wear now. So for this sweater, I use basically all of my hand-dyed yarn. I use this dark gray color is called Perfect Storm, and then this like black and white speckled is called Rorschach. I do have like a little accent color right here in red. I have no idea what this brand is. I got it at a little yarn shop in Wisconsin and immediately ripped off the label and wound it up, and I don't know. It's cute. It's red, but it's literally one strip. So I'm gonna say no big deal for that. Next up on my list, I finished. This is the thing that I was most worried about finishing, because this was all supposed to be finished in mid-October, and it was not. But I did finish my Pure Joy shawl. I have not woven an ends. I have not blocked anything. So apologies if everything looks a little crumpled and messed up currently. But this is my Pure Joy shawl that I will be gifting to somebody this Christmas. It is, like I can't even stretch it out all the way. I have come to realize that my tension is like way tighter than the average person's tension. So it is definitely, it's the right length. It's not quite the right like width. I'm hoping that I can like block it out a little better and make up for some of that. When I initially started this pattern, I was super worried about not having enough of this pale pink. This yarn is all Madeline Tosh. It's the Toshmo Light, so it's got a little bit of mohair in there, which does get everywhere as you're using it. Somebody had commented a while ago about putting it in the freezer for a little bit before you start working with it. Thank you. Oh my God, that was the best tip ever. Because I love working with it, but it gets like fiber and I should have actually put it in the freezer before I started messing with it, because it just does get kind of fiber fuzz all over you. And so there would be days where I just couldn't touch it because I wouldn't want that feeling of fuzziness all over my face. I have it now. Oh my gosh, there's just fuzz everywhere. But I did that trick and it totally worked. It totally kept it from like getting all over my face, and that was a lifesaver. That's what helped me finish it, actually. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have the labels right next to me, and I don't remember off the top of my head what the colorways are called, but I will I'll look it up and I will put all that information down below. But I just love this blush pink and this like fun deeper purple that go with it. I am really excited. I'm excited and sad that I'm gifting this, because after working on it for so long, I've become very attached to this one. So I think I might actually just make one of these for myself, because it's really fun. It's an easy pattern. It's mostly garter stitch. The increases are very like, once you get into the rhythm of the pattern, it makes sense. Like I would say this first section, which is actually kind of bubbling out a bit because you can tell how much my tension has changed over the course of this project. But like these first two sections took me a little bit to get the hang of like, okay, how does the whole pattern work? But then once I got to like the third one, these sections kind of flew by. It's very good card knitting. You don't need to have the pattern in front of you once you get started on a wedge. And yeah, it's mostly garter stitch with just a little jazziness in between each section. So just enough so once you start getting bored with the garter stitch, you have a couple rows to break it up, and then you go right back on trucking. It's good for knitting and watching TV, and yeah, I mean, it's a Locatelli pattern. It's basically perfect, right? I really hope that the person I gift this to likes it, because I love it so much. I am going to try and weave in the ends for this and get it blocked tonight. We'll see if that happens. It's so sweet. I love it so much. It's perfect. So my second finished object that I'm going to show you guys are socks. These are Hermione's Everyday Socks, and this yarn is from Kitty Pryde Fibers. And again, I should really ask her if I'm pronouncing this right. I believe it's called Lepidolite. It is based off of a quartz or a semi-precious stone or something with geology, and it's pretty and purpley and gray, and it's perfect for the person I'm gifting it to, whose favorite color is purple. I had very much a love-hate relationship with this sock pattern, I won't lie. This was my first non-vanilla sock that I've knit, and I was really excited about it because I love Harry Potter, and I just thought it was like, and the person I'm gifting this to loves Harry Potter. So I just thought it was like a really fun combo of a bunch of things that she loves. She is obsessed with fun socks. She loves purple. She loves Harry Potter. It was basically like the world's most perfect gift. I finished, false. I started the sock back in October, and I got about halfway done. I got like right past the heel turn and started trekking along on the gusset and made like the dumbest mistake possible. Guys, read your patterns thoroughly. It's like cooking, right? Like, don't be like me and glance at the recipe, say, I can totally do this. I've got all of the ingredients, and get halfway through the recipe and realize you're either missing something crucial or, oh man, this needs to rest in the fridge for 2.5 hours. What was I thinking? I need dinner in 30 minutes. Like, just read through your patterns a couple of times before you start that. Because I totally missed the part where she instructed you to continue the top in the texture pattern. And so I got through the gusset of the first sock and realized that I had stopped doing the texture pattern and was like, ugh, why? So I got so mad at myself. I put the sock away for probably a month and then was like, I really need to finish these if I'm going to gift them for Christmas. So I had to knit back for like basically the entire gusset all the way back to the heel turn, and then continue on. Other than that, other than my own like dumb mistakes from just not paying attention, great pattern. Really liked it. Really loved it. I love the texture. I love the way it shows off the yarn and the variegated color. I wouldn't choose a super busy yarn for this sock just because it would definitely make, I don't know that the texture is going to really show off a super busy yarn the way that you'd want it to. I think a slightly variegated yarn like this one, or a semi-solid or solid, would be great. But anything more than that, and it's probably just going to be like, there's too much going on. There's just too much. I flew through the second sock mostly. I did make one little mistake, but you know what? I can't even find it now, so we're just going to call them perfect. I'm still getting the hang of the Kitchener stitch. I did one Kitchener stitch perfectly. It's my first Kitchener stitch that I've ever done perfect. So one of the socks has a bit of a ridge on the toe, and the other one doesn't. But I'm going to say that no one but a full-time knitter is ever going to notice that. So we're just going to call it done. I cannot wait to gift these for Christmas. I'm really excited to hear what she thinks. I'm a little nervous. We have the same shoe size, so I tried them on. They're a tiny bit snug. But seasoned sock knitters, tell me your experience. Because the pair of socks that I made for myself fit perfectly when I made them. And then after I wore them like twice, I felt like they really stretched out and now they're kind of loose. So I'm thinking maybe it's a good thing that they're a little snug. Maybe after a couple wears, the same thing will happen and they will loosen up just a little bit and then fit perfect. So let me know in the comments if you think that will happen. Otherwise, she might just have socks that strangle her toes. Oh well, they're pretty, they're cute, she can look at them. Hermione's Everyday Sock Pattern, by the way, guys, free. So like, go get it, because hashtag all the free patterns. Actually, I think the rest of the stuff I'm going to show you today are free patterns. So go check them out and give them some love, because I feel like free patterns don't get enough respect out there, guys. This next project that I started and finished in the last 2.5 days is a cowl. This is, I think it's just called the drop stitch cowl. I'll double check. I will put all this info down below. And I did this with the Madeline Tosh ASAP yarn that I got this past summer. I think the colorway is Cosmic Wonder Dust. I'm like 95% sure that's what it's called. Something cosmic. Pretty sure Cosmic Wonder Dust. It is a super false. It is a bulky yarn. I just learned this week that there is a difference between bulky yarn and super bulky yarn. So there you go. You learn something new every day. This is a free pattern that I found. Actually, I saw this first on Instagram and bookmarked it because I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I have to remember to go back on Ravelry and find that pattern. And I'm so glad that I remembered that I bookmarked it and that I went and I grabbed it. This took like 2.5 hours to do. Actually, I could have finished it in one night if I don't fall asleep so quickly after putting my own kids to bed. Literally, guys, like between now and Christmas, I'm going to be drinking a Red Bull at 7 p.m. so I can like stay up and finish the rest of the things that I need to finish. We have to wrap presents. We have to make Christmas treats for different parties. Christmas in my husband's family is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is like a 5-day event. There are things going on every day. So it's pure insanity. Sidebar. So yes, this was finished in like 2.5 hours. Literally, if you're watching this podcast today, being Thursday the 21st, you can finish this in time for both the ambitious Christmas make-along and for Christmas. You can still gift somebody something cute for Christmas by using this pattern. Fun fact about this pattern, I definitely ran out of yarn on the bind off. The pattern does call for like 110 to 120 yards safely. I think the ASAP yarn comes with like 90 yards. So I knew that I was really cutting it close. I was kind of banking on my gauge being tighter in general to kind of make up some of that difference. And it did a little bit. She also notes in the pattern that like you can just shorten it, obviously, wherever you want. So I probably could have done just like one less row and it would have been fine. You can actually, I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys, but basically there's 6 garter stitch rows here. Or there's 3 garter stitch ridges. Is that what they're called? That's what we're calling them, ridges. In between this section, this top one only has 2 ridges, so I clearly ran out of yarn, and then I decided to call it early because I knew I was going to run out of yarn, and I ran out of yarn during the bind off, and so I started panicking a little bit. So luckily, I'm one of those people that casts on with like a super long tail, and then I leave like this obnoxiously long tail because I'm paranoid about cutting it. Thankfully, I do that because I was able to just kind of like snip enough yarn from the tail to end up finishing the bind off. Yeah, that's where I joined it, about right there. So I literally had like 6 stitches left to bind off when I ran out of yarn. Oh, it's so embarrassing. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's super cute. I'm gonna get more bulky yarn and like I'm gonna try it on. Yeah, I'm gonna get more bulky yarn because like, come on guys, how adorable is this, right? No, it probably is pretty warm even with the drop stitches in it. I like it. Maybe I'll steal this one for me. Ooh. This is officially gift number 2 that I was able to start and finish within the Ambitious Christmas Make-Along parameters, and I'm going to post my stuff in there, even though obviously I don't qualify for prizes, but that's okay. I should participate, my own make-along, right? These next 2 little projects are things I literally started and finished in the last 2 days for my kids. So our son Pete is turning 1 well, I'm recording this on Wednesday the 20th, but I'll probably post it tomorrow the 21st, and the 21st is his actual birthday. He's 1 year old, and I've never really made him a proper hat, so I made him a cute little hat for Christmas. I need to shape up this pom-pom a little bit. I didn't really follow a specific pattern for this hat. I just kind of looked hat sizing for a 1-year-old and just did a little 2x2 rib here on the bottom, and then the rest of it is just straight up knitting in the round, general decreases to make the size. This pattern here in the middle, I just alternated stitches with green and white. It really actually looks cooler than I anticipated it looking, and it was really easy. I didn't do anything crazy for it. I believe I used like generic craft store stash yarn. I want to say it is like, it's definitely a Lion brand yarn, and it's their thicker, like, bulky wool ish yarn. So I'll look it up. I'll look up the names. And it's just a cream and like a spruce green, which I thought was very Christmassy. So I will be gifting this to him on Christmas Day. He's not going to know or care. He wants to rip up all the wrapping paper. So I'm definitely going to be one of those parents who just like wraps up a bunch of empty boxes and just watches him open, and like that will be his Christmas present, just sitting in a pile of wrapping paper and just shredding it all. He will be the happiest baby. Like he's essentially a cat. If he could just sit in boxes and like mess with paper all day, that would make his life. He would love it. He'd be in heaven. And so this last project that I started and finished last night is for my daughter. So I'm going to actually be making Zoe a very similar hat to the one that I made Pete. I will start that tonight and hopefully finish it tonight. But she's also been asking for a scarf. So it got super cold here in Chicago. It was really nice for a really long time. It was like in the 60s, the beginning of December. And then like a week and a half ago, we hit the world's worst cold snap. And it has been freezing. And we walk to school every morning. And it's like a block and a half to school. But it's been so cold that she gets halfway there. And she just turns to me. She's like, I'm so cold. So she told me the other day she really wants a scarf. So I made her a scarf. I think this is Lion Brand Homespun. Again, went stash diving in my big Rubbermaid tub of craft store yarn. But it's fun. It's a fun texture. Like, I know every brand does something like this, but it's super soft and squishy and awesome. Her favorite colors are currently pink and purple, so this worked out perfectly. And save these like ends I still need to weave in. This was just a really easy crochet cowl. I did use a pattern, although it's simple enough to not really need a pattern. I think it's called like the Neon Lights Child's Cowl or something to that effect. It'll be down below. And it's just a couple rows of alternating single crochets and double crochets. I will say it was a little tough to get started because I totally forgot how goofy this yarn is to work with, especially with crochet, because once you chain, it's hard to see your chain because the yarn is so textured. But once I got past that part, it was smooth sailing from there, and it took me an episode and a half of Broadchurch. There you go. That's the best unit of time measurement that I can give you. An episode and a half of Broadchurch to finish this cowl. And so I'm going to make her a similar matching hat to the one that I made Pete with white and pink, and hopefully she will love it and wear it all the time. But most likely she'll decide that it's scratchy or weird and won't want to put it on her like all toddlers do. Oh, right. So that basically wraps it up. That's all I got for you guys. I really do hope that I will be able to resume some sort of regular podcasting schedule soon. Our lives have just been crazy town. We did have good birthdays. We get to see Star Wars. I am excited about Christmas. I'm finally starting to feel like I can get into the holiday spirit now that like work stuff is behind me. I have an away message set up on my email so that way I don't have to worry about looking at it every 5 minutes. And I really just miss you guys. I miss this community. I miss being active. So I'm hoping to jump back in. So thank you so much for coming back and watching. It means the world to me that you guys are still there, still checking in. I really love it. Thank you guys. I hope you guys all have an awesome holiday season. I need some coffee. I hope you guys all finish the projects that you've been working on. So is it just me? Does it feel like Christmas just gets crazier and crazier as you get older and you feel less and less like you're in the holiday spirit? I do feel like I've been a bit Scroogey this year. So how are you guys doing? All right, how are your holiday seasons? Are you insane right now? Do you want it to just be January? Or are you looking forward to Christmas morning? I am looking forward to Christmas morning. I'm not looking forward to all the crazy travel that we have to do on the days preceding and immediately after Christmas. I am looking forward to my baby sister coming to visit us. She's actually landing in a couple of hours. I have not seen her since June, so she gets to spend a little over a week with us, so I'm really pumped about that. I'm also just really excited to sit in front of my TV and binge watch a lot of Netflix. Oh my gosh, have you guys seen all of the cheesy, like, Hallmark style Christmas movies that are coming out on Netflix? Because I kind of love them. I am really obsessed with The Christmas Prince. It is like the worst holiday movie I've ever seen, but also the best holiday movie I've ever seen. It is so cheesy and it is so silly and it is so vanilla. Like, it's just, there's nothing offensive in it at all. It's like I watch it with my toddler in the room constantly. It's just fantastic. Oh man, and if you haven't already seen it, A, go watch it, but B, go see all the Twitter commentary on this movie because it makes me happy. Yeah, I think that's really it. I've got a bunch of shows that I need to catch up on finally, and a bunch of projects that I want to finish, that I want to start, stuff that's not being gifted for Christmas. So tell me what's on your docket. What are you guys looking forward to in the next month? Definitely be sure to post your ambitious Christmas projects, especially if you finished them. Make sure you're tagging them on Instagram so we can see you guys. Make sure you're updating in the Ravelry group. And yeah, again, if you don't follow me on Instagram already, please do so. I promise to start Instagramming more things starting today. You can find me at Craft All the Things. You can also follow my hand-dyed yarn at Squish This Yarn. I'm hoping for a little bit of an update, a shop update for Squish This in January. I have some yarn. I'm ready to dye. I just need like a couple hours and it'll happen. So hopefully that will happen soon. You can also find me on Ravelry at gfiorito, Giorito, crazy Italian last name, which probably makes sense because we have a crazy Italian Christmas celebrations, S, plural. Like, there's like 7 Christmas. Guys, Christmas is nuts at our house. Anyway, that aside, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. If your holiday is already over or if it's just beginning, I hope you are able to relax and enjoy some downtime with family. I hope you're able to ring in your new year in a very crafty way, and I look forward to an incredibly crafty 2018. Happy holidays, guys.